What is going on, everybody, and welcome back once again. My name is Jordan, also known as J-Monster, and today I have a lore video for you. We're going to be looking at the origins of Kholek Suneater, but before we can do that and really understand who he is and why he is the way that he is, we need to understand the origins of the Dragon Ogres and exactly what a Shaggoth is as well, because he is known as the Shaggoth. He is one of the oldest of his race. His race, of course, being the Dragon Ogres. Now, Dragon Ogres are partially humanoid. They have a humanoid upper body with a horned head and the scaly lower body of a dragon, including 4 legs. Dragon Ogres are an ancient race whose origins lie in the far distant past before the arrival of the Old Ones, who are kind of like the Old Ones in Warhammer 40k in that they seeded all life in the world of Warhammer Fantasy. So long before the elves had developed writings or humans had learned how to make fire, the Dragon Ogres were already ancient and on the verge of extinction. During the coming of chaos, when the 2 polar gates that were siphoning chaos out of the world melted down, the eldest of their race, these being the Shaggoths, made a pact with the Chaos Gods. The Dragon Ogres were granted immortality, but were eternally damned and bound into the service of the Dark Gods. In a similar manner to dragons, Dragon Ogres spend most of their lifetime sleeping in the mountains or in the Chaos Wastes, and it often takes a very powerful thunderstorm to wake them. And actually, thunderstorms and lightning are like the source of their immortality. They are revitalized when they are struck by lightning, so indeed they stand on the tops of these mountains during these storms and rejuvenate themselves, and that's what allows them to stay going. They're kind of like a really scary demonic Energizer bunny in that way. So yeah, of course they bathe in lightning, and this increases their lifespan and their vigor, and they're so strongly resistant to lightning-based attacks that magic that uses lightning, so the Celestial College, for example, or warp lightning cannons from the Skaven are nigh useless against them, and indeed probably heal them and just make them angrier and amused, I would imagine, that you tried to use their own power against them. So riding to war, Dragon Ogres often carry weapons and armor and possess the strength of a troll combined with the speed of a cavalry unit. So they are very versatile, very scary monstrous infantry. They are quite distinct from the race of ogres. They have very little. They have nothing in common with ogres. In fact, when the 2 races first encountered each other, they became instant enemies, and great battles were fought between the ogres and the Dragon Ogres for the control of the Mountains of Morn, with the Dragon Ogres eventually being driven into the north by the ogres. Dragon Ogres, I would imagine they're quite reluctant to commit themselves to battle, as the only way that they can die is being killed in battle. And of course there aren't very many of them, so the ogres definitely had the advantage of numbers. But the Shaggoths are which is pretty important to understanding who Kholek is, because he is the Shaggoth. Shaggoths are the oldest and largest of the Dragon Ogres. It was these same creatures that made their pact with the Dark God eons ago, before the creation of mortal civilizations. Only the loudest and fiercest thunderstorms can wake a Shaggoth from his slumber in the mountains. Provided they continue to regularly bathe in lightning, Dragon Ogres continue to grow in size and power throughout their lives. There's no real limit to how massive one of them can become. And indeed, the father of their race, Kraken Rock the Black, is the size of a mountain. And retrieving a sword from his clutches that he was like sleeping with, like a teddy bear, because of course a giant monster sleeps with a sword. Archaon had to wrest this demon blade from him, and he realized that it wasn't a mountain when the mountain that he thought he was standing on began to shift in its slumber beneath him. Now, Kholek Suneater, he's also known as the Herald of the Tempest or the Mountain Lord, is a powerful and ancient Shaggoth who fights completely committed to the cause of the Chaos Gods. He is like this monster of myth that only appears every 8 generations when the malevolent moon, Morsleeb, the Chaos Moon, waxes full in front of its benign cousin, Mansleeb, and a terrible storm rages through the crevasses and chasms of the World's Edge Mountains. Jagged ridges are silhouetted like the broken teeth of some titanic beast as lightning flashes and thunder roars. Before a great chasm that splits the mountains like a gigantic axe wound, hundreds upon hundreds of Northmen kneel in the pelting hail and snow, chanting sonorously as their captives are sacrificed and hurled bodily into a cavernous lair. Then, as the storm reaches its terrible climax, a terror from the prehistory of the world bursts forth with a roar that shakes the roots of the peaks themselves. Kholek Suneater awakes, and all of the world trembles at his wrath. Kholek is a Shaggoth of tremendous age. He is one of the firstborn kin of Krakenrock the Black, father of the dragon ogres. Kholek was present when the terrible pact with the dark gods was first struck, pledging his race to an eternity of servitude in exchange for mortality. The sagas tell that Kholek's part in the bargain was such an affront to nature that the sun hid its face behind a bank of storm clouds and has never looked upon Kholek since that fateful day. True enough, Kholek's coming is heralded by rolling black thunderheads. When the herald of the tempest walks, a raging storm blots out the sun. Like all dragon ogres, Kholek is energized and enlivened by the power of lightning, roaring triumphantly as crackling bolts of pure power play across his ancient and scaly body. He wears great plates of brass as his armor, the better to attract the tempest's kiss, encrusted with the patina of age and blackened by soot. In his shadow march the mountain tribes that worship him as a primal god of destruction. Kholek Suneater was last seen by mortal eyes during Asavar Kul's Great Invasion. Asavar Kul was, I think, the first ever chosen. He was actually slain by Sigmar when he united all of the tribes against the Chaos Powers, driving them back. And his armor, in fact, is worn by Archaon, as that was one of his Hercules trials that he had to go and acquire before he could be anointed as the ever-chosen of the 4 Chaos Gods. But anyway, Kholek striding south with his armies under the cover of a ferocious blizzard. The histories of that time describe a raging storm beast tall enough to look over the ramparts of Prague, a god of winter, who smashed his way into the city with pure brute force. The sagas tell of how the monstrosity stalked the old quarter of the city, demolishing each and every temple within the city's walls before returning to his glacial realm. If the rumors from the north are true, Kholek is abroad once more, and the end times are surely upon us.